Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Hip Hop Babies.
Yes, sir, ski.
Bam. We back. You know what it is. Your host with the most, Ed Lee. Got my boy Ray with me, as always. And today we are talking about that Alfredo 2 by Freddie Gibbs The Alchemist.
Yes, sir.
Whew, man, it's been a while. It's been a while since we had this. Thinking about where I was in life. Last Alfredo dropped. It's been like 4 years, something like that.
Yeah, it's been some time.
So, crazy, man. Crazy evolution. Al and Freddie, they still doing the same stuff, man. They still making good music. This was a really solid, really good follow-up to Alfredo 1, in my opinion.
I think the same thing. Actually, I think this is a great follow-up. You know, after Alchemist has been cooking since they last did this. I mean, he was cooking before, but, you know, obviously this was a big project for them. It got nominated for a Grammy. Could have won, but, you know, it lost to, I think that was the year they lost to Killer Mike. Yeah, I think Killer Mike beat him.
They took his trophy, man. Reggie Bush.
Yeah,
man.
but I think this was probably our top album, or it was in the top 3 for sure. It might have been one on one of our lists. I don't remember, that was years ago, but yeah, I love the first one. I had to re-listen to it today before we got into this. And it was great. This one is really good. I was expecting more of the same, but I do like the way they went about it. With they dropped like a little movie.
Oh yeah, like, okay, yeah.
The theme and the cover art, it kind of connected it because, you know, the first one is Alfredo, right, and it gives more. This one they did, but it's more of an Asian vibe as far as like some of the references and some of the way the album transitions compared to the first one where it was more rough. This one was a little more smooth to me.
I can see that. Yeah, and there's some mirroring from like album to album. Like you look at the intro on both. This one, 1995, the way that it transitions into those guitar riffs, you know, like how we had on the first Alfredo. One of my favorite things about this project versus the last one, took down the feature count by 1. There was 4 on the last one. There's 3 on this one. It's a little bit longer, so we get a little bit more of Freddie and Al just, you know, working together. Whereas in the last one, I felt like because it was so short and because we did have those 4 features packed in there, that it felt a little bit less like their project and more like just a showcase. But they really dialed in on this one.
And a lot has changed since the first album, especially with Freddie. He's been in a lot of internet drama. And he addresses some of it on this album. But Freddie has still consistently been dropping dope projects. I mean, the last album he just dropped last year was dope to me. I still play, I think, 30 Girlfriends. And if Anniversary was still on streaming, I'd probably be playing that a lot more. But even before that, you know, he drops a bunch of projects that people sometimes sleep on because it's not these collaborative projects. But he uses these albums to shine, I feel like. With the consistency as far as like bar to bar, flow to flow. And I think, you know, the producers obviously help the album transitions and just help the pacing. Because this album's pacing is amazing. I didn't really like miss a step when I was first listening to it. And as I keep listening to it, it gets even easier to just let it flow.
Yeah, I would say the transitions between the tracks are heat from start to finish. And just like the spaciness of it all, I think that works really well with like Al's production style and how it can be so like out there sometimes, and then you'll snap right back into it when Freddie's going in. The perfect like kind of motion throughout the project. Mar-a-Lago is easily one of my favorites on here. I could say that about a lot of these ones, but just the way we were talking about the transitions, the way that 1995 goes into Mar-a-Lago, and Freddie picks it up, it's crazy. The references, the pop culture references, you know, he's always got these funny things to talk about. First thing he talks about basically is Trump with the name of the fucking track. So he reminds me a lot about me, where I just kind of say what the fuck ever, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah, but you know, you do it a little differently, you know. You do it more in a playful, friendly way. He does it in an aggressive, like, you know, he's calling you out. Talk about calling people out. Empanadas. He was referencing the Benny the Butcher situation and said he's always talking about what's relevant, or talking back at people who bring up stuff all the time because that's constantly brought up when it comes to his image. And I love that. But what's cool about that situation, listening to this now, is that they've apparently met up and hopefully have moved past that, him and Benny and Griselda, because I do miss those features. You talk about the features, right?
Uh-huh.
The first one did have those features. I mean, Conway and him was amazing. And then, of course, him and Benny was dope too. But I mean, I'm not going to say they're going to work again. But if anything, it's cool to see them hopefully clear the air about that situation because, it was crazy what happened. And,
the fact that they got
older,
that they got on that first project together was such a moment. Frank Luke is still one of my favorite tracks from both of those rappers, right? It sucks, that shit like that happens. But both of these guys, like, they occupy kind of the same lane, and it's just weird to not see them be able to coexist. So, like you said, I just hope that they're moved past it because really it was just some bullshit. They tried to jump him, but they didn't crush his grape. So he's good.
He's gonna still be up on it. You know what I'm saying? He got to flex a little bit, so that
I love the T Morant line in that track too. He's courtside drunk like T Morant. The little shit, bro. And then the next one we going into Skinny Suge 2. I'm a nightmare walking, psychopath talking. You can like read the title of the track, and then he's gonna play off of that with a bar. And it's like just those little creative things that he does makes him so special to me.
Yeah, and of course he's bringing that energy. Skinny Suge was a track on the first one. I think I prefer this one. I love when he said, "Suede roof, the 99 dudes retail therapy, fronted the homie work. Man, I might as well start a charity. Sean J. Boog got shot in his eye. That gave me clarity." The rhymes on this album, and the flows, you got to be paying attention, even though it is a chill album. And that's what I love about Freddie. He keeps it gangster, but he is a dope lyricist. And when he gets with one of these producers, he doesn't let the beat take over. He's still going to be a big part of the song. It's easy still to catch what he's saying. Like, his voice fits perfectly on a lot of these songs.
Then they get somebody like Anderson .Paak on Enchilada, man. Enchilada was crazy. One of my favorite tracks. I'm just going to be saying that a lot this entire time. But Anderson .Paak, he's a damn angel on this track. And then I just love the wordplay with the double speak with Enchilada. I thought that was really dope. That refrain / how he goes into the chorus. He's just having fun on here, man. Just the way that he's doing his wordplay on here.
Yeah, I like that track. What it was talking about, a lot of pain in the streets, a lot of pain, in the game. No one to trust. You always got to trust yourself. Not nothing crazy new, but it was a dope track. For me, a highlight was Shangri-La. I love the beat. Go looking into it. Most of the album was recorded in a studio, I believe, called Shangri-La. And it means paradise, if I'm not mistaken, or something of the sort. He goes into like what his paradise is a little bit on this track, of course. Like we're saying with the titles and with the vibe of the track, it just fit like really well.
And the samples too. Like that's kind of the thing. Is like the samples on all of these, they hit on the theme or whatever, and there's no like misplaced energy. It's all like focused, and that's some of the best stuff. And
yeah, the sample on 1995, on the first part, man, I be singing that randomly or like it just pop up in my head. Like I love that part of the song a lot. Alchemist is known for doing that, but I feel like he does that at the peak of his game with Freddie Gibbs because he knows this is an album that a lot of people were hyped for. And for a reason, obviously. I was going into it maybe looking for something to maybe like, it's not as good as the first, or they took a while, but I can't really say that.
I was gonna say you gotta let each other have space. You're not gonna come up with something new. I mean, I don't even think that anything on here was like all that new or like groundbreaking, but like both of these artists are so consistent that you kind of get what you want.
I'm not gonna say this is completely new because we've seen Alchemist obviously go crazy with Larry June, but Feeling, I feel like kind of felt like a different track. When I was like re-listening to the first one, like that kind of stood out to me as far as like a different vibe. But I like that track. That's the Peasy track. And of course, I thought Larry June was dope on it.
They both talk their shit in different languages, basically. Another one of my favorites on here. We already talked about features. I felt like that Larry June one was very compact, but I really like the one on Gold Feet with JID, where he basically gave JID the second half of the track. He said, "Go ahead, just rip this shit." It was crazy, bro. That was damn near feature of the year for me, bro. That shit was crazy. First time I heard that.
Hey, Jid said, "Oh, you get me on this album without? Then let me show people what it's about." Because that's, a lot of times Jid is compared to the OGs, right? Freddie is definitely an OG, real respected MC. So give him the track. I think Freddie letting him do that because he knows, like, Jid is hungry. We just reviewed his last project, and he obviously, I feel like, wants to cross over, but he still likes to flex his skills. And I love that. He's not, like, giving that up.
One of the best beats, too, bro.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's one of my favorite things, because we've had a lot of features this year where I felt like I don't think that the rapper whose album it was trying to give their best beat to whoever was featured. But selflessness, man. Selflessness. And didn't take away from it, it just added.
Another highlight for me was I Still Love Her. I like that beat. I think it was kind of like, I wouldn't say the most simple. I just feel like it was like smooth, sample. Love Her, that's been brought up a bunch of times in hip hop with Common, Kanye, of course. Loving hip hop. And I love the way he did that track. Still thugging, bitch, my steez. Diss me on computers. I'm in Shibuya learning Japanese. These chickens talk, I speak that Trapanese. 2003, I had a truck of that Zona. I charge a stack a piece.
Yeah, that rhyme scheme is crazy, bro.
There's some crazy rhyme schemes. But then he also knows how to chill out, like on Jean Claude or, I don't know, Jean, how do you, Claude, is it Jean Claude?
Is it Jean Claude? I don't know.
John Claude, okay, yeah, whatever. John Claude, whatever, however you say it. He chilled out on that one, and he can do that very well.
Chilling out, talking his shit, lavish habits when he hits the double collateral on Academics and Gunna. That shit was hilarious, bro. We need more people ragging on Academics. Gunna, at this point, Gunna might be safe, bro. He might be safe. He might, have something in store for you.
One thing I like about Freddie is he could take what he gives out. He talks stuff, but he also has been talked stuff about, and he goes along with it. He has a personality, it shows, in his music and the way he promotes it and the way he puts his music together. You might not check all his projects, but whenever you do, you're going to get a glimpse into what Freddie is trying to put together. And it's going to be probably a little different from the last project in some way. Because, some people say, oh, he's a, gangster rapper, but if you check his discography, especially, since he's been working with these producers, if you only check those out, Bandana and all that with Madlib, he's dropped like Freddie, he's dropped You Only Live Once or You Only Die Twice. I might be getting them mixed up, but he's dropped a bunch of projects to fill certain gaps or do throwback kind of vibes if you like old Freddie. And I appreciate that from him. Because then he gives you this and it's like all those energies kind of into one, but with a dope producer.
I wouldn't label him as gangster rap. I would say half main, half cocaine. You can't say he portrays that kind of image, but mostly I think it's just jokes. If y'all didn't follow Freddie Gibbs in like 2018, 2019 on Instagram, you missed the golden era because that shit was hilarious, bro. The flows, the bars, those are consistent. So whatever sound he's trying to touch on, if he's working with Madlib or he's working with Alchemist, like we were talking about, it doesn't really miss. That's what I appreciate most about him, just consistency, clever lines, punchlines, references, whatever it is. His work ethic and like how he got to this point shows throughout, his music. Question for you. Bad Lib series or Alchemist series? You had to pick. Gun to your head.
Nah, that's a tough ass question. I really like the Alfredo series, It's hard to say, but I have to go the Pinata Bandana series. And this is just because when Pinata came out, that album is really special to me. That's a special time. I'm not saying, Alfredo does too, but man, Pinata was crazy to me. I mean, Bandana is arguably better. I think what also is the difference is I feel like Alchemist, he's a great producer, but Madlib, he can get a little more wacky sometimes. And I think Bandana also is a big difference maker because, like I said probably years ago, and others have said, he brought him into his world more so. Madlib brought Freddie into his world more so on that album. And I feel like with these, it's just more like a perfect fit. While Madlib, it was a little like weirder,
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I know that after we had gotten Pinata, and then I didn't listen to Pinata when it first came out. I had to go back and listen to it. But when Bandana was about to come out, that hype was insane, right? And Madlib isn't like the type to do a bunch of collaborative albums. So that's huge. That's huge. And I would say that it is a little bit more crazy to get like a collab album with Madlib than it is to get with Alchemist. I mean, Alchemist, he's doing a lot with a lot of people. And that's not to say that he's like weakening his sound or devaluing his sound. It's just, like you said, it's crazier to get into Madlib's world and like do stuff with him than it is to do it with Alchemist.
What do you think?
I'm gonna have to go with the Alfredo series personally, just from when I started listening was a little bit later. So I feel like I've gotten more time with these albums than I did with those. I can go back and I can listen some more, but just when they dropped, I felt like, at least for the first one, I was going through a pretty tumultuous time when the first Alfredo dropped. Just like how you and Pinata, it was a very special time to you. It was a special time to me when the first Alfredo dropped. I just moved to basically Seattle, and I was feeling my way out through it. And it was just special. And the project just has like a really nice nostalgia lock in my brain. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to have to go with Alfredo.
Yeah, and I was going to basically say, like, I mean, it's hard for me to compare because this is, like you just brought up, this is way more recent, especially this album, obviously. So maybe that will change because this album, I'm not going to say I liked it more than Bandana off first rip because Bandana was insane. But I think this was a more smooth listen as a sequel because Bandana changed a lot, in my opinion. So I could look at this differently after I get more time, especially when we go into the year-end list, right? This is up there. This is album of the year contender. I mean, we don't even got to get in. You know what I'm saying? We know what's up, right? Because like I said, there was some differences on here, and I do like the difference in the culture. You know what I'm saying? What they did with the cover and everything with the movie. So it does add a different dynamic.
It's interesting how, if you compare like from Pinata to Bandana and then Alfredo 1 to Alfredo 2, it is interesting.
Man, talking about the Madlib stuff, that's making me want to go listen to Uno right now. That making me want to go listen to, you know what I'm saying, half man, half cocaine right now, man. You know what I'm saying? So all these collab albums are great though. So I mean, I want more too. Don't stop doing these, if anything, man. I know people, we're comparing, we're music fans. We're gonna compare. Even if you want to, add someone else to the mix. I like when Freddie does this. So keep them coming.
Yeah, for sure. You want to talk about your favorite 3 tracks?
Yeah, I'll go. On my first one, I'm going to go Skinny Shook 2. Love that track. Number 2, I'm going to go 1995. Okay. And number 3, I'm going to go Shangri-La.
All right. I didn't expect you to go that direction.
Which one? Wait, hold up.
I thought that you would definitely have Gold Feet in there, but I guess that's just my bias.
Yeah, no. But Gold Feet, that's obviously, that was fighting for it. Gold Feet would probably be fighting for that 3rd spot. But those 3 tracks have been the ones I've been just playing casually a lot, though.
Okay, for sure. For me, number 1, I got Lemon Pepper Steppers. I mean, we didn't really even get to talk about that one, but after,
in the church, crazy.
Church and my Lemon Pepper Steppers, like that title and just that phrase in general is hilarious. I felt like that was easily one of Alchemist's best beats on this project. Number 2, I'm gonna have to give it to Gold Feet. That was the other one that really stood out to me on first listen. Just the way that they were just changing the flows and just going with crazy shit. I love that one. And then my 3rd one is going to have to be Enchilada. Thank you, Anderson .Paak. appreciate it. I need another album from you. But yeah, Enchilada was another one on there. So, yeah, that's my 3. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up for Freddie. If you're somebody who likes to listen to albums front to back like us, you're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of this, a lot of replay value, and you might not ever want to shuffle it when you're listening to it because I feel like it's perfectly sequenced. Thank y'all so much for watching this episode. Freddie Alchemist, thank you for giving us this project to review. It was great. More in the future, hopefully. We're going to enjoy this as much as we can. And thank you to the viewers for watching this video. If you got to this part of the video, hopefully you already liked, commented, and you have been subscribed since we've been doing it. We appreciate that. Yeah, I just appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for watching us and letting us do what we do, because this is so much fun every time we get on here. Just get to talk about the music that we enjoy. It's really just, my passion. I think it's Ray's passion too. So thank you, Ray, for being one of the best co-hosts anybody could ask for. And I'm going to pass it off to you.
Thanks, Deadly. Appreciate you. We always doing it big as usual. Thanks to all the listeners, all the watchers. Thank you to Freddie the Alchemist, engineers, everybody who put together something, all the people who blessed us with the samples. No sample snitching though, but to the people who blessed us with the samples to be used. We appreciate y'all. This is great music. This is an album that, again, reminds me, like you're saying, why I listen to albums, why I listen to this type of music. It's consistent. You can play it as a whole. You can add it to your playlist. And I appreciate y'all for giving me another one of those because it's hard to do, especially nowadays. And we're getting up there. We've heard a lot of stuff. So when something impresses us, I think it says a lot. So appreciate y'all. With that being said,
peace.
Peace.